Hey everybody, what's up? This is hashtag homeless day 24, I think. I'm pretty sure it's day 24. Sunday. I'm burned out. I'm burned out today. I went to church today. I've been to a few different churches since I came to Jamestown and the surrounding area. I've met some really good people at these churches. I really like this pastor that was at the church today, and but I can tell when the enemy is attacking, because my mind is going in so many directions that even at church, even though I'm sitting there asking God, can you just clear my mind so I can focus on the message of today? All of a sudden my mind's going this way, my mind's going that way. I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that, and something else at the same time. And all of a sudden I realize 10 minutes has gone by and I didn't hear a single word this preacher said. And I'll focus back in on it, and then I start drifting away again, and all of a sudden I realize another 4 or 5 minutes went by. I have no idea what this dude just said, because I'm so wrapped up in my own stuff that I just can't even focus. I'm going to talk to you guys for a few minutes, and then I'm going over to the coffee shop, the obnoxious, loud. Oh, I have no idea what's going to happen in this place today. There's always a show whenever I'm in there. And I'm going to set up. I'm going to work on some stuff. Basically, what I'm working on right now is I have a portfolio for my design work, in software design. And what I decide to work on to improve it has been kind of dictated by who's talking to me and what opportunities are right in front of me. So a couple of weeks ago, I had an interview with a software company to do more user interface engineering. The job was mostly writing code and very little doing design. So I just feverishly, for about a week, a little over a week, put together samples of code that I've written in the past and just retooled it in a way that I can present it to other companies, to other people, to show here are 4 or 5 examples of code that I wrote that's complicated, that it shows an ability above and beyond a basic, someone who's basic and has limited knowledge with this. These are things that show an expertise that, of the level that should get me taken seriously by somebody who wants to hire me to write code for user interfaces. And then that opportunity didn't pan out, which is fine. And another opportunity came along, and this opportunity is more of a design opportunity and a pure design opportunity, not research, not leadership, but getting in the trenches and doing design work. So that steered my efforts in building my portfolio now are, what can I add to my portfolio that shows not just design capability, but design capability in the specific software that this team uses. So I'm just taking some projects that were built in one application, and I'm transferring everything to this other tool, the tool that they use. And I'm just putting it together to show not only do I know the tools, but here are design pieces and the evolution of design on a couple of projects. And they're clickable prototypes. So what that is when you're designing software, you as a designer will put together a mock-up, but it's not just a bunch of images or a PDF file or a JPEG. It's a prototype that you can click around in, and it gives somebody the sense of what this piece of software is going to be like when it's actually built. But to build a prototype takes In some cases, these prototypes can take several weeks to put together. But if it takes several weeks to put the prototype together, it's going to take several months for a team of programmers to build it. And so it's much better to build something when you know what you want to build, and when you've put together these prototypes and put them in front of people and have customers and users and people at the company testing it out, checking it out. Does it align with the branding of the company visually? Is it aesthetically pleasing? Are the processes that we're putting in place in terms of the number of clicks it takes you to perform a task? Are we making it simple, and are we making it simple enough that a person can figure it out for themselves? That's the ultimate goal. When somebody designs an app for the phone, if they know what they're doing, you should be able to download the app and figure out how to use it without anybody telling you what to do. You should intuitively just be able to use it and figure it out without having to read an instruction book, without having to go to a website or ask questions. It should be intuitive. You should be able to figure out what you're doing without anybody telling you what to do. That's the goal of software designers. Not just to make something look aesthetically pleasing and professional looking, but to make it so that you guys can figure it out on your own. How many pieces of software do you use? I've been talking to a lot of people that work for the government, and the software that these people have to use in the government, it's ridiculously bad. These people are using this software for 5 years and they still can't figure out where things are. They still can't figure out how things work. It takes 30 clicks and 20 screens to enter data and to fill out forms that someone like me could come in there and reduce the amount of time it takes them to do their job, fix the bottlenecks. That's basically what I do. And so I'm putting together pieces for my portfolio that showcase that kind of work this week. And I'm going to sit over at the coffee shop for about 4 or 5 hours, and I'm just going to plug away at it. I can't even believe 7.5 minutes has gone by in this video, and I'm just talking about nothing. But that's where I'm at. I had a very well-known company reach out to me through LinkedIn in the last week, and these prototypes that I'm putting together, they align precisely with what this company does. It's a well-known company. If I said the name of the company, every single one of you watching this video would know who it is. Most of you, I would say 90% of you, use this company's products. Very well-known group, a very good job opportunity. But right now I'm just in the beginning stages of things, and these things can take over a month to shake out one way or another. So there's that. And other than that, that's what I'm focused on right now, because probation's telling me I have to leave Jamestown and go to Pittsburgh. So does it make sense for me to spend hours of my day searching for a general labor job or any kind of local job here in Jamestown if I'm being told it's time to pack your bags and go? They're just not telling me when to go. I don't have a place to live in Pittsburgh. I'm trying to figure something out before I'm forced to go there, but it's not looking like that's going to happen. I have no idea where the Lord wants to lead me and what he wants me to do. So if I'm not getting a direct sign and a direct message of drop what you're doing and go here or go there, I'm just going to try and feel it out. And what seems to be the best use of my time right now is just working on this portfolio and putting more irons in the fire for these remote software jobs, because no matter, if I get one of those jobs, it doesn't matter where I'm living. I could be living out in the woods back in Amish country where I was in Pennsylvania, and I can still do my job as long as there's a good internet connection. So the only other thing, I don't want to talk about politics, but and I'm really not focused on it. But this morning I was waiting for church to start, and the only thing to do sometimes is sit in a chair and just twiddle away on my phone. And unfortunately, I get sucked into reading the news a little bit. And, oh, wait a minute, hold on, I hear something in the back. What's going on over there? Oh, don't worry about it. I just heard the trolls coming up through the bushes. Here they come because they know I'm going to start talking about politics, and they're all back there going, "Ooh, yay! Ooh, I can't wait to hear what he says so I can put some nasty comments in the comment section. Ooh! All right, trolls, get ready because here it comes. I was looking at the news down in Washington, D.C. today, and it looks like the Democrats are down there throwing a bunch of riots right across the street from the White House. And they're beating up cops, they're throwing things at the cops, they're spray painting and vandalizing all the things in the park, throwing off smoke bombs and doing all and acting violent. And how many people have been arrested for doing all of those things? According to the news media, 0 people have been arrested for that. And now I'm reading other stories about how a group of Trump supporters are standing around with some flags and waving flags, and they all got arrested. So you can talk all you want about what I did that got me in trouble. And once again, I'm not going to sit here and say that what I did was anything but vile and reprehensible. And I said things that were just, they weren't who I am, number one. I was angry about some things. I am going to talk about this, but when I do that video, it's not going to be off the cuff. It's going to be thought out. And I'm going to have some notes in front of me so that I don't miss anything and so that I don't forget any part of it. But you're never going to hear me say, oh, I should have been able to do what I did. And, but I guarantee you that if I had said something to the effect of, I want to hurt Donald Trump, I want to do something to Donald Trump, I want to, if you replaced some of the words in my statements with Donald Trump instead of the feds or the FBI, I wouldn't have gotten in trouble. There would have never been a knock on the door, because right now we live in a country where one side of the political fence, they get to do whatever they want. They get to burn down Minneapolis to the ground. They get to say whatever they want. They get to trash our cities. They get to beat up cops, set cop cars on fire, riot. They can do whatever the hell they want. And the government, the cops, the FBI, the police, they just look the other way and just let them keep doing it. And then we've got another side of the political fence. All they have to do is speak out and say they don't like what's going on. All they got to do is do what I'm doing right now and just say, I don't like what's going on. And boom, your doors are getting kicked in. You're being dragged off to prison. You're being harassed. You're losing your job. Your life is being completely destroyed. And I would just like to point out, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I think most politicians are trash. I mean, I can count the number of good ones on one hand. And there's good people on both sides of the political spectrum. But they're far and few between in politics. And I don't like any of them. But this is what's going on in our country right now. And all you got to do is pick up a history book, or maybe you didn't pay attention in history class, but when these totalitarian regimes take over a country, whether it's Germany with the Nazis, whether it's Russia with the communists, North Korea, whatever country it is, one side, the side that's trying to get into power and that's taking over, the totalitarians, they get to do whatever they want. They get to run around terrorizing the people, burning down businesses, burning down cities, beating people up, beating up the police. The brown shirts get to do whatever they want to do. And they're encouraged to do it. And anybody that talks against them are going to go to prison. They're going to have their lives ruined just for speaking out against it. And that's what America is right now, people. I mean, that's what you're looking at it. You're looking at it. You just seen Donald Trump get convicted, and no, we don't even really know what the crime was. Like this whole thing is a kangaroo court, and but then we've got Hunter Biden, who's on trial right now, and you watch that he's going to get acquitted, and if he doesn't get acquitted, his dad's just going to set him free anyway. So there's one there. That's why they call it justice, because it's just us. It's not for us. It's not for we the people. It's for the people in charge. It's so that they can do whatever they want, and the rest of us peasants can just rot. And so, there's my political rant for the day. That only took about 4 or 5 minutes, but that's what I saw on the news today. And now I'm just going to put that away. And I don't even care. Like, I see where things are going in this country right now. My job is to focus on putting my life together. My job right now is to go put my head down, do what I have to do to get ahead of everybody else. And, or maybe not ahead of everybody else, but to get ahead of this situation. And to try and come back from rock bottom and rebuild a life, not just for me, but so I can take care of my kids, so that I can do something productive here in society, and whatever form that takes. I don't care if I'm working at a corporate big box store, or doing general labor, or shoveling dirt every day. I don't care what it is. Or I can go back to doing what I was doing before with software. I don't care. I don't have any. I'll do whatever work I can get my hands on, and we'll build from there. So anybody who thinks I'm lazy, and because I'm taking the time today to focus on the software gigs, the only reason that I'm putting the effort in instead of other places is because there are opportunities on the table, number one, and I'm not going to just walk away from them. And number two, I'm being told I have to pack up my bags and move to another city. And so, does it make sense to spend 30 hours this week looking for a job here, when potentially on the first day of work, they're just going to say, get your bag and head on out, homie, you're out of here. So I'm going to do what I think is the best, and if the good Lord wants to jump in and push me in a direction, or put something in front of me that says, hey, this is what I want you to do, then then that's what's going to happen. So I'm really not going to worry about the politics or the trolls. There's trolls popping up every day on YouTube, and all they're doing is helping the channel. Every time the trolls watch this and share it with the other trolls and show up to leave their nasty comments, boom, 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 the subscribers are going up and the views are going up. And I did not want to do this YouTube channel. I did not want to do it. The first time I sat in front of this camera, I still don't know what to say, but I'm comfortable with it now. Whatever, I've done it. This will be the 23rd time I've sat in front of this camera and done it. And once you've done a thing that you are uncomfortable with a few times, and all of a sudden you just don't care anymore, and you're just going to sit and do it. So that's what I'm doing. I can't believe the number of people that are watching this and subscribing to it and responding to it. Most of the comments are positive, and that blows my mind. I thought it was going to be, 99 trolls for every positive comment, but it's actually 99 positive comments for every troll. So that ratio, just my mind can't even wrap itself around that. And that's a good thing. Cool. I'm glad. Maybe I'm helping somebody. Maybe I don't think I'm helping anybody right now, but what I'm trying to do is document this chaos. And someday, when I get back on, Lord willing, when I get back on my feet, and he puts me where he wants me to be, and gives me a purpose here besides, just sitting on a park bench talking to you guys, then there's an example of the power of the Lord right there, because I can't do this on my own. Believe me, I can fight and scratch and claw my way back, but if it's not what God wants, then it's pointless. And I really don't think there's any way out of this mess without him guiding me out. So hopefully this is a testimony someday to the rest of you that you can screw up your life bad to the point where you're further below rock bottom than your wildest imagination ever thought you would get. And you can get out of it through the power of God. Like I just wanted to say, I could pull myself out, but I can't. That's the point. I can't. I cannot do this on my own. But I feel spiritually like I'm doing the right thing today. And if I'm not, I'm going to get a sign. He's going to tell me. He talks to me in ways that are just blunt and obvious. He's been kind of quiet this week, but sometimes it's just because maybe I'm going the right direction and working on the right things, and the work that I do today 2 weeks from now might pay off in ways that the work I'm doing today might pay off in a few weeks in ways I couldn't even perceive. And I'm going to turn around and say, man, I'm glad I sat there and did that instead of this or that or the other thing. So we're at we're at the standard 20 minutes mark for these videos, and I'm going to let you guys go. But yeah, this channel's getting more traction than I ever thought it would. Check out shop.litgood.com if you want to check out my art. Go to litgood.com and look at all the photographs that are there. If something strikes your fancy, let me know. I'm easy to contact. I can easily get a photo up on Etsy so that it's a safe buy. People feel safe going to Etsy and buying from there because, for some reason I, vanish off if for some reason, because they didn't like what I said on YouTube today, they take me away and I disappear, you'll get your money back. You'll get your refund from Etsy, and, Etsy will mark me down as a, unreliable seller, and all that stuff will happen. But as long as I'm here, as long as I'm functioning, you're going to get your photo in about 2 or 3 days, most likely. The shipping was fast the last time I filled some orders. So, let's see, there's that. But yeah, I was doing some research. I've been doing research for a really long time because this is not the first time I've thought about doing something on YouTube. But the other times that I wanted to do something on YouTube, I felt like I had to put all this production into it and make it all fancy with graphics and motion graphics and all of the things and professional editing and all that. And every time I would sit down to try and do it, it would take too much time, and I would get discouraged, and I would just give up before I ever started. And so I've done my homework and I've done my research on channels that grow exponentially. And the amount of people that have subscribed to this, me sitting in front of a phone, just running my mouth for 20 minutes a day, it blows my mind. The number of watch hours, the number of hours people are actually watching this, and the number of subscribers and all of the metrics are, I could have put all the effort into production and fancy graphics and all the things that I'm capable of back in the day before this ever happened, and this channel would never have grown. But people like to see a train wreck, and people like to see the downtrodden, and people like to see other people fall flat on their face, and here I am. So, who knows? Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Someday I want to turn this audience, or I want to take the number of people that are following this channel and branch out into things that are useful to you. I want to teach photography on YouTube. I've made up my mind. As soon as I get on my feet and I have the ability to sit and do it, I'm going to teach photography, and photography from the point of view of someone who wants to buy a camera and knows absolutely nothing about photography. I don't want to focus on, teaching professionals how to be more professional. I want to teach people who don't know anything about a camera and make it so that you can feel confident behind any camera, and not just the camera, but the editing tools like Photoshop and all that stuff. So that's one thing I'm going to do when I'm on my feet, when I have a place to live, and when I have time to branch out in different directions. So the fact that there's an audience forming around this channel right now just gives me more motivation to make that happen. So there's that. The bicycle ministry, that's something I want to do. That's something I can do. It wouldn't. I see bicycles for sale on Facebook, Facebook, whatever the heck, Marketplace, on Craigslist, on other sources here in Jamestown, that if I had a little bit of money in the bank, I could buy up these bicycles, fix them up, and just give them to homeless people. Like, that would be an awesome thing. And I know there are resources in Pittsburgh. If I move there, there are lots of people and resources in that cycling community that would band together and actually help me do this. And they would think it's a worthwhile cause and a worthy cause. And I could probably, that's one thing that the city of Pittsburgh versus here, I think people would rally around that idea and actually help make it a reality. So those are two things I want to do. Part of the reason I couldn't stand my career before I mouthed off and ended up going to prison was because I didn't feel like I was contributing anything valuable back to society. I just felt like I was working on garbage every day. I used to do package design, packaging. And so basically as an artist, you are spending your entire being and your entire livelihood creating art that somebody picks up at the grocery store and then they come home and throw it in the garbage. You are literally creating art that's meant to go straight to the garbage can. And that's kind of how it feels when you're working in software sometimes, that it just, sometimes it just feels pointless, and if you're a human being who's not completely lost, every one of us has some sort of desire to do something good for the rest of us. And when you're wearing those golden handcuffs for some corporation and you're churning out you're literally churning out garbage, whether it's beer packaging, whether it was, I used to do film packaging for Kodak back in the day. And, I could name about 6 or 7 household brands that I've designed packaging for, but the packaging, when you buy the product, you bring it home, the packaging goes straight to the trash. The packaging serves a purpose when the products are at the store, but once you brought it home, that artwork is going in the trash. You're not hanging it on the wall. And so that's part of the reason why I got into photography. That's part of the reason why it's just, I don't know where everything's going right now, but it's going somewhere, and we'll figure it out one day at a time. Don't worry about tomorrow, because you got enough to worry about today. And with that, I'm just going to let it go. See ya.